Say what you'll want to say about Ace, but we know that he's been fond of Shelly from the beginning. Let's go ahead and just give the win to Ace and Shelly, please.
Kay Unscripted, no teeth restricted. In this journey, watch our stories unfold.
Hey y'all, welcome back to the channel. It's your girl Kay and this is Kay Unscripted. Today we're going to be breaking down Love Island USA Season 7 episode 33. We're almost at the end. We're literally at the end. But today, before we get into this recap, I need your help. And you could help me by liking this video, subscribing to the channel, because there's going to be more recaps like this one. So let's get into this one. It's literally the night after the elimination. Taylor and Clark have just went home. There's a chat between NickOlandria and Nick. She said that she's happy that he found his person because Nick is checking in to see how she's feeling about Taylor. She said he found his person and she can do nothing but support it. Now, I didn't like how production was just showing Olandria in that frame when Taylor was asking Clark to be his girl. I didn't like that. But anyway, Nick says it's a bittersweet feeling for him. Yes, it feels shitty that he's not there anymore, but he left the villa with love. That's what you come here for, and he's happy that Taylor left with that. Nick says he loves the support from America because they're still there and he really didn't feel like that was possible. And America has seen their struggles and want them to continue to build their connection. Ace is having a chat with Shelly. He's really sad to see Taylor go. Shelly tells him, just go ahead and cry. As a matter of fact, I'll cry with you. Ace said he expected them to be the ones going home because America hasn't really been feeling them for the past couple of episodes. Remember that ranking that happened? That took a toll on them. So Shelly says she knows what she feels towards Ace, but this kind of gave the reassurance that she didn't know she needed. She's been in her head since the ranking, and she's glad that America is now starting to see what she sees in her couple with Ace, and to her it means a lot. Ace tells Shelly that he doesn't really care what people think, and even if America votes how they want to, he's still going to choose her every time. Huda is with Chris, and she's crying about Taylor. She's saying that he took care of her during her time in the villa. She brings up the previous conversation that they had and she said she did not walk off. And I'm like, what? Girl, you literally walked off from the man while he was trying to explain himself. But anyways, she says that kissing under the sheets and the other places is private and that's more valuable to her. She says that she moved a lot faster in her previous couple and she was trying to not do the same. And so she's asking Chris what are his thoughts on what she said. He says he has none. She asks him, well, is he checked out? He says, well, yeah, he's just tired of having this conversation over and over. He felt disrespected when she walked out while he was trying to speak to her. So Huda tells him, well, if you don't want to keep pursuing this, let me know so I can leave you alone. Again, Huda is making the situation about her. How did him saying how he feels equate to him saying he doesn't want to pursue you? Make it make sense. Once she says that to him, you could tell that he was just pissed off. He pulled himself away from her and he's like, get off me. Well, he didn't actually say that, but I'm pretty sure that's what he wanted to say. But he pulls himself away from her and says to her, why do you keep doing that? You always take it there. We can work things out. Everything is not always just final. She said, well, I asked for your thoughts and you said you have nothing. He said, that's because what you're saying doesn't make sense. It's confusing to me, but I respect it. Now, here's how I feel about this situation, right? People keep making excuses for this girl. Oh, she's traumatized. Oh, everybody has been judging her and she's trying to do things differently. Everyone has pretty much chosen their person that they're going to end with. No one cares if Huda would kiss Chris in public. They don't give a shit because everybody's just focused on their couple. Now, she's saying that she wanted to do things differently. If she really wanted to move differently this time, why did you give up the coochie? And you did it so fast. When Chris was telling Brian about having sex with Huda, he said he folded. He finally folded, which means that she's been trying to sleep with him and he hasn't been going there with her. But he gave in finally. I don't understand how kissing in public is so much more valuable to you than sharing your body, like sleeping with a guy. You could screw him in the room filled with people sleeping right next to you. They can literally hear everything that's happening, but you cannot kiss him in public. Goodbye. Anyways, she walks out. Chris says, your priorities are messed up. You can screw me, but you cannot kiss me. And that's exactly what everybody's thinking. Now she goes over to the kitchen and she's telling Brian, oh, Chris doesn't like that I don't kiss him. I don't want to get hurt. And from the look on Brian's face, you can tell he wasn't really buying it because he knows that Huda and Chris slept together, so her story wasn't making any kind of sense. Now, while Ace was passing by with Shelly, he sees Chris in distress. He goes to check on him, and Chris tells him about Huda's behavior. He says for him it's a red flag. And remember, he did say that he attracts emotionally unstable women. So let's keep that in mind. Anyways, he tells Ace they're knocking boots, but she cannot kiss him in public. Ace tells him, well, his feelings are valid. They just need to meet a middle ground to respecting his boundaries and her boundaries. I feel like that was really good advice from Ace. I mean, that's the most he can tell him because we all know that Chris is just going to wait things out. And once he gets done with Huda, once he leaves the villa, that's all it's going to be. Right? So as everyone's getting ready for bed, the girls are in the makeup room and Huda is still talking about this situation with Chris. Amaya explains to her that it is weird because if it was a guy doing that to you, you would definitely question if he doesn't want to be seen in public with you. So Chris has a point there. Anyways, they head to bed, and did y'all see Shelly and Ace praying together? That was really nice to see. I hope y'all saw that. Anyways, it's the next morning. Ace and Shelly, they're chilling. Nick walks up to them because he wants to talk to Ace. So then they head over to a little section. There's 2 bean bags there. Ace says, wait a minute, we're missing Taylor's ghost. And I'm just like, Ace, you play too much. So he brings back a bean bag, so it's the 3 of them. But anyways, they get serious and Nick tells Ace that he got some cuddles from Olandria and he's feeling himself. Ace asked him if he's ready to dive into things with Olandria, and Nick says he's not sure what to label what they have, but he knows for sure that they're not friends. They're taking it really slow and they're getting to the point where it's going to be, you know, what it should be. But for now, he knows that she makes him happy and he loves spending time with Olandria. Nick then asks Ace, does Taylor being exclusive with Clark give him any ideas? Ace says yes, he's never been this deep into a woman, but he has some fears on how things can turn out once they get outside of the villa. We know Ace has been through some things and obviously he's really guarded and he has his walls up, but being with Shelly has caused him to kind of bring them really down and to trust her. So I don't think there's going to be any switch up with these 2. Shelly and Olandria and Amaya are together. Amaya says every morning when she wakes up, she realizes that she made the right decision with Brian. So the girls tell her how happy they are for her. And then Shelly gets frightened by a bug. That was funny. But Huda comes and she asks Amaya to have a chat. So then they head over to talk. Huda says that this is her first connection after Jeremiah. And for her, she still touches Chris. She still sits on him. So to her, she's still showing affection. She says that he needs to do more so she can feel the need to do more for him. And I found that to be really funny. Yet another pattern with Huda. Wasn't this the same thing she did to Jeremiah? After they slept together, she started telling him, oh, look at what Ace is doing for Shelly, planning all of these dates and doing all of those things. Why aren't you doing that for me? Why am I not getting flowers? Why are you not doing this? Why are you not doing that? I need you to do more. I need more from you. These are the same expectations that she had for Jeremiah that she's now giving to Chris. Anyways, she tells Amaya that her top love languages are acts of service and words of affirmation. She says that he does acts of service but fails with the words of affirmation. Amaya says to her that it's all about communicating those things to him, and just because he's not doing those things, it doesn't make him a bad person. So Huda pretty much wants this man to be all about her. She did say she likes her men obsessed with her, and Chris just isn't at that level with her. And for me, even when he does acts of service, she still complains. She still finds a reason to make something an issue. Chris is now with Brian, and he's still feeling the same way he was feeling, but he said he felt a little bit better. He said he doesn't understand her logic, and he said, she's the toughest nut I've ever had to crack. Brian says, you know what, it's an easy fix. You all just need to communicate. Orlandria then gets a text that says, Islanders, it's time to get hot and wet in today's couples challenge. Viva Las Villa. So they get all dressed up for this challenge, and it was a cute little challenge. This is how the challenge went down. The Islanders must first slide down a pole, then they slide down a pool on a board. Then they're on a ride. One person has to fill the glass of the other person with a cocktail. And then they head over together down the slide to clean off and end it with a kiss. Everyone's doing their thing, but we know Huda's going to be doing the most. And she did. The people have been saying that she's a midnight ballerina and she's not beating those accusations at all. Chris was still pissed because tell me why was he throwing the whole bucket of cocktail on Huda? But the challenge was nice. Everybody seemed to have had fun. They head back to the villa, and now it's later on in the evening. Everybody gets all dressed up. Now there's another chat between Nick and Ace. Nick says he's happy that he got to kiss Orlandria in the challenge. They've been flirting with each other, and he's just really happy. He said she gives him flutters, okay? Ace tells him, don't be afraid to dive into that. Then there's a chat between Orlandria and Shelly. And Shelly's like, girl, this is your first couples challenge. She says that Nick makes her feel giddy and they're getting closer. Orlandria also says that she does want to kiss him again and she likes Nick. The thing she likes about him the most is that he keeps reassuring her in a way that she's never had before. Shelly says, girl, I just want to hear about a kiss. Orlandria said, bet. So Iris and Peppy have a chat. She says that she's amused by him being able to do so many things. He says that he's a jack of all trades, a master of none, but he wishes he was able to just focus on one thing. She tells him that it's pretty much led him to now, so it's a good thing that he's had to go through all of those things. Now, I really felt for Peppy because I definitely am a jack of all trades person too, and sometimes it can be really difficult trying to settle into one thing. You zone out into one thing, then you get bored because you're just so skilled at doing so many things. It's difficult to just focus on one, and that can be very overwhelming. I have yet to figure out how to deal with that, but I definitely felt Peppy in this discussion. They talk about the challenge. Peppy tells her that he enjoys spending time with her. He didn't imagine his last week being this way. She said she thought she would have been sad and alone, so clearly she's not thinking of TJ. And she enjoys the physical connection and the fact that she could talk to him for hours and hours and hours. She enjoys spending time with him, and they share a very passionate kiss. Nick and Orlandria then have a chat, and Nick says that he didn't think they would have come this far. He said he wasn't prepared at all. He only had 6 shirts, and I'm like, Nick, what? He said he's not really prepared for much of his life. She said she's a planner and she wishes she could have been more carefree as him. Girl, I think Nick needs that balance. So having you is definitely going to be a balance for him. She tells him that she likes him and she enjoys their cuddles. She's attracted to him. She said the highlight of the past few days have been him. The kissing and everything comes natural to her. Unless they're not showing us something, we haven't seen any kissing with these two. But anyways, Nick tells her that being with her sparks something in him. Now, one thing about Nick, he's going to compliment Orlandria. He tells her he loves her hair. He kisses her hand. He is definitely into Orlandria. They then head to the photo booth. They take some really cute pictures. And there you have it. The kiss, the passion, the desire, That wasn't forced. This looked real to me. Then Amaya and Brian are in soul ties. She's talking about how she thinks she's a lizard. Amaya, baby, please. Please stop, Amaya. So Brian tells her, at this point, you're just making things up. But she and Brian then come up with a plan to help Huda and Chris because they feel like the argument is just so petty and it can be solved with simple communication. So Brian is going to get Chris to head to the dock and then say he has to use the washroom. And Amaya is going to do the same with Huda to force them to have a conversation. So Brian walks up to Chris and says he wants to talk to him. Chris touches Huda, just letting her know that he's going to have a chat with Brian. And she says, why are you touching me with your dirty ass hands? Baby, Chris is just too nice. Chris was like, girl, shut up. She said, he knows I doesn't like that. And she calls him an eggplant head. And she didn't say eggplant. And I'm just like, girl, oh my God, Huda. Anyways, Amaya and Brian execute their plan. Now when Amaya tells her, let's go to the dock, Huda said, am I in trouble? So you could tell that she keeps getting pulled because she's been acting up a lot. So they're always having to pull her to talk, to check her about something. Anyways, Huda says that she needs to wash her hands. And Amaya tells her, well, I need to do number 2 and I don't like when people are around. So she's like, girl, just meet me on the dock. I'll meet you there. Huda heads to the dock to see Chris already standing there. She's like, why are you at the dock? He said he's waiting on Brian. He went to use the washroom. She said, well, Amaya told me to meet her there too. And she also went to the washroom. So they figure out it's a setup. It's a scheme that Amaya and Brian set up, okay? So she asked him how he's feeling since the disagreement. He says, you know what? At this point, it is what it is. He doesn't want to carry yesterday's emotions into today. She said, well, if something's bothering you, we should talk about it. He said he's trying to understand where she's coming from, but he's not getting it. So it doesn't make sense on keeping on dwelling on the same situation. She asked him if kissing and doing things intimately under the sheets is not enough for him. And he says, girl, that's not what it's about at all. She's still not getting it. And clearly Chris is over it at this point. He tells her, telling me yesterday and today isn't going to change how I feel about it because what you're saying is not making any kind of sense. But she then apologizes to Chris for upsetting him and hopes that they don't argue anymore. He said, you know what? It is what it is because I know nothing's going to change. So he's pretty much saying, you know what? At this point, I'm just going to stick around and deal with you because we only have a few days left. Okay. So she asked him if this is a deal breaker. He says if it was, he wouldn't still be there. He's like, everything doesn't have to be always final with you. But Chris, you were forced to talk. You also said that this was a red flag for you. But of course, once Huda hears him saying those things, she starts smiling again because she's getting what she wants. She thinks she could do what she wants, say what she wants, treat people how they want, and they have to come back to her. He said he's very understanding and opening to hearing her concerns. It's just a matter of the way it's handled. She then takes this as an opportunity to tell him, well, since you said that, can you acknowledge me more in the morning? I like a lot of attention from my partner. She said the focus has to be on us in her confessional, but the truth is, Huda always wants the focus to be on her and only her. Ace and Shelly have a chat. He tells her that he really likes her. He's really happy with her. He's so glad to have met her. And while they're being all cute and stuff, Ace gets a text that says, Islanders, the Hideaway is now open. Please choose one couple to spend a private night together. So immediately everyone starts shouting, Ace and Shelly, well, except Iris, because she wanted to go to the Hideaway with Peppy. But the guys help Ace to get ready and so do the girls. Ace came down with his damn boxes. Ace, relax, okay? But Shelly came down and she looked amazing. Everybody was hyping them up. Eat that kitty in the Hideaway. Eat that kitty in the Hideaway. But anyways, they head over to the Hideaway. They go inside to check out the room. Shelly goes to change into her swimwear. And once she's getting ready, Ace runs outside. And then we see him creating a heart shape. And apparently he put A and C in the middle of the heart. So when he sees Shelly coming outside, he tells her to close her eyes and he guides her to the steps. And once she's there, he asks her to open her eyes and she sees that he created the nice heart with A and C in the middle. So he tells her that he wrote her something, and then he proceeds to read the cutest speech, and he also asked her to be exclusive with him. Now, you know it's real when they say your full name, right? You know it's serious. But she didn't give up no coochie either, though. Did she? No. So Ace and Shelly are officially a couple. I love that for Shelly and I love that for Ace. He was cheesing, she was cheesing, her face was hurting her, I was cheesing, my face was hurting her, and that was a really, really nice moment. I love it. Did you enjoy this moment? Please share all of your thoughts with me on this episode. What was your favorite part of this episode? I need to hear from you, and don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.